Hi. Hi, how are you? Hey, welcome. Welcome back to another episode of Queer Life Avail podcast. Today I'm talking about the books that I've read so far this year. If you listen to my episode about my New Year's resolutions, you will know that I wanted to read 5 books in the whole year. And today I finished my 5th book of the year. So I'm very happy about that. I'm very proud of myself about that. Honestly, I didn't think that I could do it for some reason. And in this video, I'm going to be a little bit quiet because it's like 10 p.m. right now, and people in Germany are very particular with quiet times and all that. So, yeah. Also, if there's glare, it's my laptop in front of me with the books that I read, so I remember which ones in order. Um, but yeah, I had this slump. I haven't read a book entirely. I was telling my girlfriend this today. I don't think I've read a book since middle school. Like legit, when we read Hatchet in middle school, and that was like you read it along with the teacher, and maybe something else. I don't know. Something in high school, something Shakespeare, whatever. It's not Romeo and Juliet, but the other one. Um, but yeah, like I haven't read my own book in a very, very long time. And it's a problem for me because it makes me feel incompetent. It makes me feel like stupid. And I've just been, as I've been like trying to be less on my phone, and as I also see people around me like read for fun, I'm like, wow, maybe there is books out there for me because sometimes I get in the mindset that, oh, there are just not books that interest me. But that's probably not true, and it's not true, I found out. I just have to find books that I actually like. Um and I also just felt like maybe I just don't have the attention span to read. And that was really sad, and it's kind of like that thing where you're like, "Oh, I can't do something," and then you just like go on your phone more or your phone more because it's like the only thing that's comforting. You know what I mean? It's a real problem, the phone thing. It is pretty bad. And I think like it sucks because it's a free activity to go on your phone. I mean, there are things you can pay for, but there's many things you don't have to pay for, like social media and internet and YouTube and everything. You can find a gajillion things that you don't have to pay for to see. So it's free, and well, I guess your phone's not free and your internet's not free. Um, but in general, going on your phone is free, I guess. Um, and I mean, it's something you have to have for work, for school sometimes. So, um, and it's just always accessible. It's always there. It's always beside your bed. It's always on the charger. It's always in your pocket. It's always in your book bag. It's always in your purse. So, it's just like, why wouldn't you go on it? And it's also, like I said earlier, it's like you get depressed about something or get depressed about, oh, well, I just don't have the attention span or I just don't have the willpower. But going on your phone is going to make you feel a little bit better. And it does make you feel better for a tiny little second, then it makes you feel worse. At least in my experience. Um, yeah, so I'm still struggling with that for sure, but it's I've proven to myself that I can read a book, I can enjoy a book, I can get lost in a book, I can want to read a book over looking at my phone, which is really something I'm really excited about. So, yeah. So first, I only have 2 of these books here with me. I can't find, I think I have the third one somewhere, but I can't find it. Because I was this, the first couple months I was going to the US, so some of my books are there. Um, but I'll still try to describe them to you, and I'm also gonna rate them. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about people's books, people's bookshelves in their houses, and they have like 300 books, 600 books. I'm like, damn, I don't think I'll ever get to that level. I'll have like 15 at a time, probably, max. And I just see no value in keeping books. I don't know. Unless I'm gonna reread it, but I don't really know that I would do that for a while because I've just started reading this year, so I'm not gonna forget the books enough to reread it this year. Um, but yeah, a lot of people do a rating system 1 through 5, so I thought it would be nice to also start within myself rating my books that way too, the books that I read, so that I can kind of compare to that. Because it just kind of seems like a universal thing that people do who read or who talk about their readings online and stuff. Anyway, the first book that I read was I Want to Die, But I Want to Eat Tabuki. I don't know how exactly to say it. I get lost and yeah, I just keep repeating it and then I'm like, okay, I can't get it. Tabuki, it's like the little rice cakes that it's a Korean food. It's kind of like ramen, like a late night snack, like tabuki. It's chewy. I've had it before. I didn't like it. Usually it's in like a spicy gochujang sauce, but I've seen they also have like sweet. They also have like cheesy. Anyway, it's like a popular Korean little meal, little junk meal, little side meal, whatever. So basically, I'm not gonna try to like completely spoil these books, but I doubt that people watching are gonna read these books. So I'm just gonna give what I think is enough info to kind of explain my rating. Um, this book is about a girl who's Korean and she is struggling with um, a a form of like light depression. Like she's always lightly depressed. She has struggle. She struggled. She has trouble getting out of bed, going to work, stuff like that. But it's just like a lightness. It's not like a heavy depression all the time. So she sleeps a lot and blah blah blah. She's very insecure, things like that. She talks a lot about her self-image and things like that. It's actually very interesting. It was really interesting, and what's interesting about it is that it's from the point of view, or, well, it's a transcription of her therapy appointments. So it'll have like her therapy appointment dialogue, and then it'll have like next it'll have like what she did that following week until the next therapy appointment, and it kind of shows like what they talked about and what she did. Either she took the advice or she didn't, or she kept acting the way she was explaining she doesn't want to act, or she didn't. Things like that, like being more social. The most interesting thing about it to me was when she talked about she would record herself. She would always have her voice note, like voice memos on, and she would record herself throughout the day of working. And then she would go home and then she would analyze it. She'd be like, oh, that was stupid. Why did I say that? Or, oh, that was awkward. I think that was my fault for being awkward. And it's like, girl, chill out. The therapist was like, girl, you are torturing yourself. That is so unhealthy and it's not beneficial for you. Like, you're working at work and then you go home and you're working by hating yourself, you know what I mean? Like, you're never relaxing. So it was really insightful, honestly. I really enjoyed that book. I got it at a little queer bookstore that had a lot of English books here. I mean, she's not queer, but still, it was a really, really good book. I really liked it. I just realized I didn't write down any of the authors for these, but it's fine. Um, the the um the cover of it is really, really cute. I like it, and I also found out there's different like color variations the um of the cover, so that's cool too. Anyway, I gave that a 4 out of 5 stars. That was a really good start. It made me believe in myself. It was a good feeling to finish that book, and there was no like resolution to things. Like, it's not like she ever got her self-esteem or she ever was not depressed, but it was just a good insight, and I just enjoyed the transcriptions and then how she moved on from that, or what she did after that. So the next one is Upon Me for Two. This is about a it's about two girls. One is a girl from California who's American Vietnamese, and then another is a girl who is Vietnamese from Saigon. And so the American one goes to Vietnam to look for her family members. She doesn't tell her family about it, the ones in California about it, that she's going to there. She actually tells them she's go. Oh my God. She actually tells them she's going to Singapore, which is like wild, wild. To lie about that, that's crazy. Um, but yeah, she goes because of a blog called A Banh Mi for Two, and Banh Mi, it's like a Vietnamese po' boy, and so basically she meets the person who runs the blog, and she befriends her, and there's kind of a love interest there. So I picked up the book at a Books A Million in America, and I picked it up because it was a queer love story, so that's why I picked it up. And I really did enjoy it. I did enjoy it, but I did find some of it cringy. But I mean, it's a queer love story. Like, I'm gonna read it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So, and it was also Vietnamese American thing, so I thought that was interesting. I like international travel stories, so I did like that. It was good. I put a 3.5, but maybe it's no, it's a 3.5. It's a 3.5. Yeah, I agree. Next, I'm glad my mom died. Okay, the title is very jarring. It's very like whoa, whoa. And I asked for this for my birthday, and this is when I was home in America, and I had it on my wish list, and my mom saw it and was like, "What the hell?" Like, ouch. And I had to explain, like, no, it's about like a girl who suffers abuse and eating disorder and things like that caused by her mom. And my mom's still like, I don't know, but she still bought it for me. But it was the best book I've read to date for sure. It's by Jeanette McCurdy, who plays Sam on iCarly and Sam and Sammy Cat. She's amazing. I love her now more. Um, I mean, she was always an amusing character, but um, this just gave like an insight into what was actually going on in her life, and it's just amazing. Like, it was a great book. It was very well written. I really like. It was easy to follow, like the way she talked and things like that. And yeah, I just really loved it. Also, wait, about A Banh Mi for Two, that's it also switches each chapter is from a different perspective. Like the Vietnamese American and then the Vietnamese girl. They go back and forth. This book doesn't do that. This one is just her perspective. But I just wanted to mention that because there's other books like that too. Um, so yeah, if you haven't read it, you should. Or if you're interested in something like that, it's about her developing an eating disorder. It's about the death of her mom. It's about the abuse of her mom. It's about her family life. It's about acting from a really young age. It's about the pressure. It's about the work conditions, things like that. It's amazing. It's a really good book. I really enjoyed it. Like, it was just something I've always wanted to read because I thought the title was so like catching and like whoa. And it was Jeanette McCurdy, who I know from childhood, and yeah, it was just a great book. It was really great. It just makes you like appreciate things and made me appreciate my own mom and made me appreciate the way I grew up and made me appreciate all that. So um, also that I didn't ever have an eating disorder in this way that this girl did. So that's amazing too. That's something to be grateful for, I think. It's just sad to see that some people's parents, like the way that they treat them or the way that they think like things are supposed to be or like their kids are supposed to be or how they're supposed to look and put that pressure on their kids. It's crazy. So I gave that a 5. That's a 5. That's a perfect book to me. Perfect. It was a perfect book. Next we'll start with the or well, next we'll have the last two books, which are the ones I actually have the books. Yay! So much more fun, I think, to show the book, I think. So this is Mysterious Skin, which is set in the 1980s, and it this is what's his name, Joseph Levitt Gordon, I think, from 500 Days of Summer and 10 Things I Hate About You. He's actually in the movie. This is a movie as well, which um I did watch the movie like probably like 5 years ago, a really long time ago. I couldn't remember it too much, but I remembered it being about aliens somehow. I remembered it being about child abuse somehow. And I remember it being like, the fuck did I just watch? Like, what the hell? I didn't get any of that. Um, yeah, and that's basically how I felt this whole time that I was reading this book, to be honest. Um, I mean, I knew that it was going to be about aliens, and I knew that it was going to be about that. I also knew that from the back when I read it. I was like, oh yeah, that is what this is about. I forgot. Um, yeah, I got this at a bookstore also here, and this one was one. That's why I mentioned earlier about About Me for two being from different perspectives, but this one is from many different perspectives, probably like five, I think, different perspectives that it flashes through. So that's really interesting. It's about this guy who can't remember a chunk of his life. It was like 5 hours that he can't remember. He blacked out and he woke up in like a small um like annex type of place, and his nose is bleeding, and he's like, when he was like 6 or something like that, and he's like, the whole throughout his life he's trying to figure out what happened to him, why was he there, why did he not remember that time. And he kind of landed on the conclusion that it was aliens, because he did have reason to believe that in his mind was like showing him visions that that's what it was. He didn't just come up with that. This was also like during a time that there was a lot of those what's it called, the crops, when the aliens were doing the crop thing, or I don't know if it was actually whatever, where they made shapes and shit in the crops, and this was in Kansas, so this was very likely. I think I'm pretty sure that that's the same amount of time. Anyway, um, yeah. So he is trying to figure out, and he keeps also connecting it to a time when he was in baseball as a child. And so then there's another character who was also on a baseball team. It doesn't say it's the same team or anything. It's just he was on a baseball team as well, and he was molested by his coach. And I mean, that's very upfront in the beginning. And it just kind of follows the story of both of them and both of the people in their lives. And then at the end, they connect and have revelations and things like that. So it's very interesting. It was interesting. I like that it was like old, like it's not a new book. It's definitely very used. And I like that, but I did find it pretty hard to follow. Found like the wording kind of odd. It's just old. It's just an old book, I think. Um and like I said, I also remember the movie being pretty odd and like, what just happened? Like what's going on? Um Yeah, so for that reason, I gave it a 2.5. It was definitely my least favorite book of the year, or of these couple months. I mean, the year so far, yeah, but I'm gonna read more this year, but definitely my least favorite so far, but it still was okay. I still did enjoy it. I still understood it in the end. Um, yeah, that's all about that, I think. And then this one that I just finished today is called The Midnight Library. This was really great. I have heard so many really good reviews about this. Sorry, I keep watching like book recommendations on YouTube, and this was one of the ones that people said like, "Oh, this is a great book. You should definitely read this." Like a couple of people had said that, so I saw it at a library literally like a block away. So they don't have a large English section, obviously, it's Germany. Um, but this was one of them, and so I thought, oh great, because I've heard really good things about this. I did really enjoy this. This was only from one person's perspective as well as the other. Um, there's been three from one person's perspective, and there've been two from multiple people's perspectives. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was about this girl who commits suicide, and then she is kind of in this purgatory state, which is a library, and there's a librarian, and she, the librarian asks her, "What's a regret that you have? What's a decision you wish you made that you didn't make?" And she's like, "Okay, well, I didn't, do this thing. I didn't move to this country. I didn't follow that um, love that I have, or things like that." She lists out things, and she is able to relive or step into those lives. She'll pull a book off the shelf, and then she'll start reading, and she falls into that life, and she lives that life until she's dissatisfied. And when she becomes dissatisfied, she goes back to the Midnight Library, where it's always midnight, of course. So it's an interesting concept. I actually really enjoyed the like parallel universe talk in it. It talks a lot about quantum theory, which was interesting. I've heard a little bit about it from young Sheldon, but is it? I don't know. He says something about that. He's always talking about quantum. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, I've heard a little bit about it before in like Schrodinger's cat, the thing where it's like a box and he's like the cat could be dead or alive. I don't know. Whatever. Um, Yeah, but it actually was really great. One thing I didn't like was it was a little bit repetitive sometimes. Like some just, everything's a possibility, everything. Okay, I got it. A little bit of that. Too much, I thought. Um, I did like, I don't know if I actually like or dislike this about this book, but everything comes again. If you hear a person's or you read a person's name in the book, it's going to come up again. If there's a little talk about, oh, there was a message from so and so, it's going to come up again. Or there was a cat on the street, it's going to come up again. Like those things. It pretty much everything comes around again, which is interesting. Um, but it's a little bit like if you didn't catch it the first time, it's like, oh, what is this? And maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't attentive enough, sorry. But I actually read this in 3 days, which is the quickest I've read a book for sure. It was really good. I actually really did enjoy it. I gave it a 4 out of 5. And I think that's pretty fair. It held my attention. I would recommend it. I would, yeah, because I'm looking at, like, I have my list of things and I have my list of um, the scores. I would recommend I'm Glad My Mom Died first. I would recommend Midnight Library and I Want to Eat Taboki, or I Want to Die But I Want to Eat Taboki the same. I would say those are the same level for me of like, I would recommend it, it changed my life type of vibe. I mean, it didn't, but you know what I mean. How much joy they brought me, I would say, is about the same. And then, yeah, a Bond Me for two, a little bit less, and the Mysterious Skin definitely the lowest excitement, lowest, like, wow, that was great. Um, but yeah, wow. I'm so happy that I've read anything, and I have a couple books already in mind and written down for ideas about books that I want to read. I do have one more book to read already, like in my possession. But I'm gonna try to order books online instead of buying them in store. Like this one was only €9, but and that's fine. But this one was $12.99. But I was just really desperate to read a book. Like I was like, oh my god, because I ordered a book. I ordered Crying in H Mart, which definitely I'm gonna be reading that this year. Once I get my hands on it. But I ordered it from Amazon. It was like $10, and then it was supposed to come in on Tuesday, and then it didn't come, and then I had to check my account, and it didn't go through for some reason, the payment. So now I was like, I'd been waiting for like days, and now it just wasn't gonna come, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna have to wait another 4 days or whatever. I'm like, no, no, I need a book. Like I expected to have a book to read, and now I don't have one. And now I'm like, oh my God, I needed that. Like, because literally when I end a book, I am sad. Like I'm sad for real. Like I'm bored. I'm on my phone a lot more. I'm on my laptop a lot more. I'm watching pointless shit a lot more. And I mean, I do that when I have a book too, but when I have a book, I at least have the option and I have like well, I could be reading right now, and you know what? Actually, I should read, or I should read at least 30 minutes a day. I'll set a timer and read at least 30 minutes a day. And I mean, that's not a lot of time, to be honest. Today I read like hours, and yesterday I did too. But I make myself read a little bit, and that makes me feel a little bit better and a little accomplished. And when I don't have the option at all, it's really hard to feel good about myself or to feel good about this goal that I have of reading. And yeah, and also just because there's not a lot of English books around, it's hard to find. So the ones that I do find, I kind of just have to pay the price that they have because I don't really have that many options. So, I mean, this one I got for a steal. $9 is pretty good, but this was my least favorite book. So, kind of, I don't know, kind of, maybe that's why it's $9. I don't know. But there's a lot of books online that you can find that are cheaper and cheaper. So, I'm gonna try to do that. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about these books that I've been reading, um, how I've been feeling about them, uh, joy that they brought me, things like that. Rate them, talk about it. If you don't know, you can actually, I think it's you scroll down and there should be a question. I'll try to post a question, but every episode pretty much should have a question or a poll or something. Probably do something like, what type of books do you like to read or whatever. Um, yeah, okay. Well, that's it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.